Guys, this just fell off. I think I hit it.
Everyone's gonna bump it. I'll be babysitting.
And this is Laura's. I just need to put it back in. We don't even need it right now. Is it? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. What's your name?
Yep.
What's your name? Ryan? I'm Bree. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I got it.
I'll keep this here. Yep. Thank you. Kimberly?
Yes. Yeah. We got it. Ahí, dice. Dijo que del lado izquierdo.
Here? Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, for music, I'm fine.
So they're saying that when the last public people leave, they're shutting down the gondola.
Yeah, I'll have a look around as well.
Hey, Dawn, are you there?
I mean, I can do this. Yeah.
They're not. Dawn?
Yeah, but then at least I'm not.
After like the last public person gets on the list. No, that's not right. I'll come handle it. If you just take a picture of the list operator knows, yeah, I'll go handle it.
I know this is not my area, but you should have something to work on.
You want to go down there for a little bit? Yeah. Do you have the little micro? You can handle it. Using the second one? Just make it really nice. Emmanuel wasn't using it during the sound check. So I'll get rid of that. Hey, Angela, can you take that microphone and move it back here for me? Yeah, where's the stand? Thank you. Can he do a sound check?
Yes, it's
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Think Global School's staff. And what do I say, just staff?
People.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the staff of Think Global School. Does that sound good? Or staff and teaching staff?
Staff and faculty.
Staff and faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Think Global School's staff and faculty of 2017. We don't need a year. We know what year it is.
Of current year.
Yeah. And then, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to your left and rise for the graduating class to Think Global School.
That doesn't sound that bad, actually, coming through
Are people hearing me?
the webcam.
It sounds fine.
Yeah.
No.
The lights are
Ladies
Yeah,
and gentlemen,
I tried cleaning
please
the
direct
camera.
your attention to the left, rise, and welcome.
Like you want to stream it directly from your phone.
I'm saying I don't mind doing that. We can still Wi-Fi. Oh, is this a password?
Wi-Fi, you don't even need a password for it.
That's probably why. It's actually not the worst thing ever, but it's open. So yeah. That's
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the left and rise for Think Global School's class of 2017.
I'm fine leaving it like this. It looks like crap. Try it.
What about like right here?
If we do it there, then
But it's my work. He has that dongle thing. Yeah.
we'll take one more shot at the presentation.
It's
He's gonna be doing all the shit. So
Start making our way to our seats, please.
Don't have to try.
Oh my god, I love it. I'll post it when I have service. Done.
Watch me pass this memory. Just to
guarding it. I'm guarding it.
I look like my mother really I just didn't want to walk off. No, I just saw that there was a I mean, I think we can sit there.
Yeah, Anthony.
Everybody could please take your seats. We're going to get started. What's the difference?
And then Kojo got lost. Kojo, we were like, I like that. Kojo got lost. It was near us. Had the line of that. He was just sitting. I was like, Kojo, what can I eat? Basically, saying like, I don't think I would either. I remember like it was just that covered. It's a lot lost and almost lost that with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Think Global Schools faculty and staff.
to your left. And please rise for Think Global Schools class of 2017. Please be seated. Please welcome our student body president, student council president, Andrew DeSan.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start things off by thanking and welcoming all the guests in attendance. In doing so, I'd like to pay a few special respects to all the parents in the crowd. It is ultimately because of your sacrifice and support that we are lucky enough to have the graduates here with us on stage today. So thank you. So moving on to the 13 very special people of the hour. When I look over to my left, I don't see the faces of high school students or even university students. Looking over, instead I see the faces of the future. I see the faces of future diplomats and artists, of future activists and future doctors. I see the faces of believers and dreamers, doers and believers. I see the faces of our generation's future leaders, both graced and burdened with the task of dealing and leading with the nuanced world that we all call our own. With this being said, I don't know how or even if my grade and the grades below us could have made it this far without them. I know that personally, I wouldn't be half the person I am without having each and every one of them in my life. Without their witty humor, without Without their collective calmness and without their sometimes wise and oftentimes unsolicited advice, I really don't know how or where the spirit of the school would be today. With that, they've been our benchmark from day one, and I know that they'll be kicking ass and taking names in no time in whatever they choose to do. Now, this is an emotional night, but it is a celebration after all, so let's cheer up. And with that, I'd like to formally introduce the Think Global School graduating class of 2017 and Think Global School founder, John Pipe.
Good evening. Welcome to Keynote. Now, I was speaking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and she said, "How many Think Global citizens do you have graduating?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I love that. I'm going to call you all Think Global School citizens now, not Think Global School alumni or anything like that, because I love Think Global School citizens." You know, I was sitting in bed last night thinking about what little pearls of wisdom I should try to impart to you. I think back over everything I've learned the past year, the amazing conferences I've been to, the amazing people I've spoken to, the amazing books I've read. You know, everything from whether we exist in a living or dead universe to the future of AI and the importance of understanding consciousness before we implant computers in our brains. It's a topsy-turvy world that you're heading into. Nothing is for sure anymore. We cannot trust our leaders to do what's good for the people or for the planet. We cannot trust the news that we're being spoon-fed. We look over our shoulders because we never know if a car is going to be used as a weapon. We cannot trust that going to university is going to get you a good job, because a lot of the jobs they're teaching for won't exist in 10 years. So what hope can I give you? And to top it all off, I listened to your poems at the Slam and your speeches at the symposium yesterday, and I thought, wow, they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. The weight of love unfulfilled or unreturned, confusing emotions bubbling up to the surface, mostly between 2 or 3 in the morning, it seems. Your poetry was so dramatic, so full of feelings, so passion, hope, anger, love, hate, confusion, fear, lots of fear. Who am I? Will I ever understand myself? What am I going to do in the world? I'm right, they're wrong. I'm me, I am me. At least I think I am. I have to say, I am really glad I'm not a teenager anymore. So what pearls of wisdom do I have? I could wax on about forgiveness and gratitude, and that if you want to be truly happy, you must practice those on a daily basis. But you'll probably forget what I said until you're about 45, when your therapist brings it up, and then you'll have some distant memory of somebody who said something about that, kind of like, that once upon a time I should have listened. So I'm going to tell you 2 other things that I think you should do. And then I think you'll remember, and they're going to sound a little silly, but I think they would help you on a day-to-day basis. The first one is dance. As often as you can, wherever you are, however you're feeling. Put on some music and dance, in a crowd or by yourself. Some people will look at you and say you're weird. Most people will look at you and wish they had the courage to dance along with you. It's one of the first forms of self-expression and energetic release we humans ever had. Let the music take your mind and soul to another place completely. Stop for a short time taking yourself so seriously and the world so seriously. You can dance when you're laughing, you can dance when you're crying. Have a jiggle, shake your booty, forget about what you look like, and feel the music vibrate through your entire body. Is that silly? Is it silly to tell a class of high school graduates to dance when the world seems to be going to toast? Well, here's maybe something even sillier to tell them, and to actually tell all of you. Just love. Whatever you do in life, choose to do it with love. Everything in life is a choice. We choose what we do, we choose who we want to be, we choose how we react. It's either out of fear or out of love. So choose love. It's so simple. Loving is so easy. Hate is so much harder. You have to work harder to hate than to love. That little voice in your head never stops telling you stories to make you miserable, to keep you afraid. It takes up so much of your time. But loving yourself, loving others, loving the planet. It may seem hard, but once you truly understand it, it is so simple. It is so beautiful. It is so peaceful. It's full of laughter and spontaneity, openness and trust, childlike awe and wonder. It's full of cuddles and safety. And if you do it to everyone around you, you'll see that it's contagious. People will want to be around you and they'll want to know your secret. So love, it really is just that simple. Now, before I introduce our keynote speaker, I have to mention two people I truly deeply love, and that's Ashley and Mike. When TGS was just a crazy idea, these two believed in me and they believed in TGS. Without them, we wouldn't have TGS. Together with me, they were TGS's first students. Because in all honesty, back then, we didn't know how to start the world's first travelling school. We learned everything as we went along. They were my first two employees and became two of my dearest friends. I've been through hell and back. They have been through hell and back to keep the school alive. They've been yelled at, had their jobs threatened, had to work crazy hours in some difficult conditions, dealt with helicopter parents, naughty children, whiny teachers, grumpy board members, 5 different heads of school. They've dealt with logistics and technology dramas and put out fires in over 20 countries and, oh my God, that's probably why they're leaving. But no, seriously, they have done all of this and more with grace and dignity, kindness, trust and love. They stood firm when it felt like things were crumbling around my feet. They believed in me, in TGS, and most importantly, in you. They're leaving, but will still be involved with TGS. Mike and lovely Jeff, who's up there, who's worked with Mike almost from the beginning, will be still helping with technology, and Ashley with our social-emotional curriculum. But it's time for them to graduate TGS, as well as spread their wings after almost 9 years. So thank you, all 3 of you. From the bottom of my heart, it has been an honour to work with you. I've learned so much about grace under pressure from you. I'm so grateful and I love you more than you'll ever know. But as you know, TGS is like Hotel California. You can check it out, but you can never leave. And for you young ones, that's a song by the Eagles. I suggest you download it and dance to it, if you don't know what that is. So now on to our keynote speaker, Emmanuel Jal. I first met Emmanuel a few years ago on Necker Island. Every time I see him, he gives me the goosebumps and huge hugs, and you know how much I love my hugs. I've never met anyone quite like this amazing human being. He is so filled with gentleness, humility, grace, and love, it is extraordinary. He is filled with a childlike wonder and a man's body with a warrior spirit. He has the most interesting story of courage and determination. He is a former child soldier from South Sudan. His biography is called War Child, and his TED Talk has over 750,000 views. He's an amazing musician and an activist, and I'm so happy he's here to share himself with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne, for that lovely introduction. And I just want to say thank you for the school for trusting me to come and graduate these guys with a speech. But I want to introduce myself. As you said, mostly I travel around the world where I share my experiences for social emotional learning to create conscious global awakening. And what story am I sharing is of my childhood experience where I was born. I was born in a difficult time, so my country was at war with itself. And that war reached the core of my family. All my aunties died during the war. My mom was claimed by that war. All my uncles, except 2. By the age of 7, my father gave me out and told me I'm going to go to school in Ethiopia, where I ended up becoming a child soldier. But here, I want to do a spoken word called Forced to Sin, which is dedicated to young people that died during a journey we planned to escape on. We're like between 200 to 400. and only 16 people survived. And it's the lowest point I've ever been as a human being because I was tempted to eat my comrade. And the reason I'm sharing it is, as leaders, it's a lonely journey to be a leader. Sometimes you'll be alone, sometimes you'll go through a difficult time. As you could experience, it was difficult to actually keep this dream alive. It was attacked all angles, but it's now here. And so, what I will ask you guys to help me is join me in the chorus so we can. I heard you guys love spoken words. I'm going to begin with spoken words. So I'll say, forced to sin. And you guys say, forced to sin to make a living. Did you guys do that? Okay. You guys can also join. So that's all I'm asking you. And after that, I get lost in the spoken word and I give you guys a cue. Forced to sin. You say, forced to sin to live, make a living. Okay? Okay, let's go. Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
So in the process, maybe later, if I speed it up, you guys join me in the flow. Yeah? Let's make the vibration happen. Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Sometimes you gotta lose to win. Never give up. Never give in. My dreams are like torment. My every moment. Voices in my brain of friends that was slain. Friends like Lual who died by my side of starvation. In the burdened jungle and the desert plain. Next was I, but Jesus heard my cry as I was tempted to eat the rotten flesh of my comrade. He gave me comfort. We used to raid villages, stealing chickens, goats, and sheep. Anything we could eat. I knew it was rude, but we needed food, and therefore I was forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Left home at the age of 7. 1 year later, I leave with an AK-47. By my side, slept with one eye open wide. Run, duck, play dead and hide. I've seen my people die like flies, but I've never seen a dead enemy, at least one that I've killed. But still as I wonder, I wouldn't go under. Guns barking like lightning and thunder. As a child so young and tender, words I can't forget, I still remember. As a sergeant command, raising his hand, no retreat, no surrender. Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Sometimes you gotta lose to win. Never give up. Never give in. Yigish. I carry the burn of the trauma. War child. Child without a mama. Still fighting in the saga. Yet as I wake this new war, I'm not alone in this drama. No sit or stop as I reach for the top. I'm fully dedicated like a patriotic cop. I'm on a fight day and night. Sometimes I'm doing wrong in order to make things right. It's like I'm living a dream. First time I'm feeling like a human being. The children of Darfur. Your empty bellies on the telly, now it's you that I'm fighting for. Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Forced to sin.
Forced to sin to make a living.
Left home. Don't even know the day I'll ever return. My country's war-torn. Music I used to hear was bombs and fire of guns. So many people died that I don't even cry no more. Ask God, question, what am I here for? Why are my people poor? Why and why? When the rest of the children were learning how to read and write, I was learning how to fight. At snails, vultures, rats, snakes, and anything that had life, I was ready to eat. I know it's a shame, but who's to be blamed? That's my story. Thank you. Each and every one of us has a story. But I want to show one of the key things that helped me in my journey. And it's called purpose. I became a lucky kid to discover his purpose at a very young age. But before I go on, what is purpose? To me, in my understanding, purpose is the highest conscious awakening of self. It's when your sixth sense are open, or your third eye is open. When you have purpose, you're able to experience what is called joy. When you have purpose, you'll have compassion. It's impossible to have compassion and experience joy without a purpose, because our five senses are built for survival. You know, it's only about me and me and me and me and me. But when you come to a situation where you're thinking about others like the way you guys are doing, that's called purpose. When you come to a situation like what John has done, to think beyond that, look, we need to create a school to create global leaders, that is called a purpose. Growing up as a kid, when kids are dying next to me because they're starving, 6, 7 years old burying their own dead, we make our own prayer, we dig our own graves. What goes on in my mind, what I'll say is, I am going to come back here and be part of solution. And when it becomes too much, when the situation is too much, I visualize. Sometimes I'll get lost in my mind, and I see myself in the future coming, being part of a solution. And then when I come back to the reality still hit me. But that idea of wanting to be a part of solution gave me so much energy, and I became creative. And that thinking is, I am not complaining, because I already immersed myself that I'm going to be part of solution, and it excites me that I am thinking that way. So what I used to do is, I would try to crack a joke. I'll try to do something. I was never focusing on the situation, oh, hell is here, what is this, and all of that, because when I think that way, my whole life becomes messy. And so, what does purpose do? I would say purpose creates luck for you. You know, I was a very lucky kid, even in the battlefields, when the generals will come and they're picking, and sometime when I'm picked, they'll say, no, this kid cannot go, there is something special about this person. How many have ever met somebody and you like them for no reason? Because, you know, your heart sends messages, your brain is sending messages, the other person receives it, and then they feel that innocence in you, and they just want to be part of you. How many have seen the lovey-doveyness, people? Do you guys know lovey-doveyness? Yeah, you just love them because they just love you. They just give you so much love. So now, what I look about what purpose does is, it created love for me. I remember there was like 1,000 kids. They were dying of starvation. And one woman came and she said, I only have food for one child. And in my heart, I said, that child is going to be me. And in my mind, I said, you have to pick me. Not because I want to eat and stay alive. I want to eat because I require the energy, because I have a plan. I'm going to come back here. It's not just about staying alive. That's what I said in my mind and in my heart. The woman passed by. She came back and she said, I want that child. She picked me and she fed me, and every day she takes me back. And what you say is, when I passed next to you, my heart was different. And I couldn't find any other kid that made my heart feel that way. Remember, I was not the weakest, but it was what was going on in my heart. And the same thing, I cannot track it. What made me luck to move forward? I made after a journey that I survived where a couple of young people died, I met a British aid worker called Emma McCune, who happened to rescue over 150 child soldiers. Okay, let me get this technology right before I scream. So that's shit. So Emma rescued over 150 child soldiers. But she passed where I was. There were other child soldiers. But she said, I want this child. I was disarmed. I was the only one she smuggled on a plane and took me to Kenya to a school. But she later died. Now I can keep on tracking. Many people came into my life. Not because I asked them for help, but they always find something different. And so let's go. What is purpose again? I say purpose is giving without expecting anything in return. Purpose is when you think about others. It's not just about yourself. Now I could say when I thought about others, that's the driving force in everything that you do. What I can say, wherever you go, if you're going to get a job to fill your pocket, you're going to be stressed. It ain't going to be fun. But if you're going because you want to contribute to the world to restore a balance, then you got it. I am here because I'm sharing my experiences for social emotional learning to create conscious global awakening. And the more I share it, the more people can find themselves that, look, I can be part of the solution. And it's just that simple. You guys have got it. So I can continue. Purpose has continued to create luck for me. And that's what I want to share. And I'm going to go ahead. I'll show you what the other story I want to show about purpose is. What purpose will do for you. It will make you do crazy things. You know. This is me traveling around the world in school. But I want to share you one crazy thing I did because I felt like I was a genius. You know, when you have a purpose, you begin to develop real big ideas, you know. One of the things that I wanted to build a school one time in South Sudan, but it was really difficult to raise the money. So I came up with an idea where I said I'm going to eat 1 meal a day. And so I created something called Lose to Win. It took me 662 days to raise the money. I became more skinny than the way I look now. The wind in New York had no mercy on me. Every time I was like the top models. But what happened is I went to the village and I told the kids, hey, I'm eating 1 meal a day so your school can be built. That time people joined me on Facebook, on other social media, and they'll come. Here, this creativity, this idea came in my head and it was alive. What kept me going to eat 1 meal a day for 2 years was because I wanted these kids to go to school. Nobody wrote me a check, but the normal people, $1, $50, $20, accumulated. But one kid told me, hey, you're saying you're eating 1 meal a day. We eat 1 meal a day anyway, so what are you talking about? And so I told the kid, hey, the place I come from, people die of fatness. And the kid said, what do you mean? So he went and called the other kids, come. Charlie's telling a story that there is a place where people die of fatness. And so one kid came and told me, do you mean there is so much to eat that they grow fat and die? And I said yes. So they took like 5 to 7 seconds digesting the idea. And then one of them put the hand up slowly and he said, that is the coolest death ever. And so you can see how kids, in my culture, to grow fat and die is a legacy. We used to have fattening competition where men are taken in a place, 4 months they eat, and then they are brought back to the village, and the fattest man usually dies. So that story has been told for generations. And so when I told them, they couldn't understand it. So here I am. I'm still constructing my story. You know, sometimes you may not know how to find yourself in life, but how to get yourself. Your purpose will be like the path to lead you where you're going to go. Now, I became an actor. I became a recording artist. Never knew I'm going to be a recording artist. Now I'm an accidental entrepreneur where, you see, I came from the bottom like a lobster. I'm rolling on the top now like a rock star with you guys. So you see, but the thing is now I make food, and I sell food in Canada. I made a superfood called Jaguar. So many things that happen in my life. I meet so many good people. But now we're gonna party. Since this is thing, John say, don't be afraid to shake your bottom. So we're gonna twerk, which is a good thing. In Africa, it's normal. So there is certain chemistry that happens here. When you go like this, you smile without your permission. So I'm gonna ask you guys to join me. Form a line, create space, and everybody else, I'm going to ask everybody else to create a space. So stand up, everybody, and look at me. So I'm going to show, look at my legs. Look at my legs. So we are dancing, celebrating these leaders. You know, these guys are leaders. Do you guys believe you're leaders? Let me tell you, child soldiers, 8-year-olds, 11 years old, fight in the battlefield. You know, they fight. That means they're leading. You know, so let's not say like young people cannot lead. They can. If they lead in the battlefields, if they're used to do certain adult job, it means you can do big things. Do you believe? So, before we dance, as you go, the last thing I say, which I always say to myself is, my life is art. Can you say my life is art? I recognize my life as a work of art that I create. So now think about what you want to create in your life, because it's possible. So now we're going to celebrate. Because the life you guys are going to create will be a life, peace, joy, happiness. Also, you're going to make money too. You're going to do good things and make money. Is that not true? Yeah. Somebody prophesied earlier that I see doctors, ambassadors, musicians, billionaires. Who's a billionaire here? Oh, it's you? Oh, okay. All right, so let's go. So everybody look at my legs. So it's easy. You just go 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. And then you turn to the side. To the side, you go like, you squeeze the juices, okay? So John, you have to join us. Somebody else. So you guys gotta make it. Form a line all the way up to there. Form a line, form a line. Don't fall off the cliff. Because we still need. Okay, I'm gonna join you guys, but guys at the back, look at my legs. Salome, you can join us. Come on. Alright. She does the whole dance. Alright, everybody go with me. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. To the side, ha, ha. To the side, ha, ha. Alright, we got it. So, I'm waiting for you. Play the DJ, play it, pump it up. Let's have fun, everybody. We're celebrating the young people, yeah? Alright. More volume, play. One more time. Awesome, thank you.
That was so much fun. So tedious. Yeah.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for that inspiring talk. Today I have the honor to begin the Think Global School graduation ceremony for the World Class of 2017 by introducing a dear friend of mine. I remember walking into the room 310 in Auckland, New Zealand, and upon finding nothing but an empty box of donuts, I started packing. And a few minutes later, the door opened and in came Jonah. There he stood, huge at 6 feet tall, in front of my 5'3" skinny ass brain. And I remember the first thought that ran through my mind, oh sweet Jesus, he's totally gonna punch me in the face or something ready. Fortunately for me, that has not happened yet. Not because I didn't run my mouth, it's just Jonah is kind enough and restrained enough to know that it's all for the banter. Ever since then, Jonah and I have walked through our teacher's journey together. And ever since, and throughout the path, I have been cautious not to walk on his left, because right at Jonah's left is Karl Marx himself. All jokes aside, I know Jonah will find true happiness in life because he's always willing to try the new. He's adventurous and open-minded, and because of that, he will always make the most of each location or anything he does in life, as he has done throughout TGS. Whether it be in the long nights in Hiroshima, or not just eating at Kampu in Urubamba, or trying the Zetonator in Victoria. I know Jonah will challenge everything and everyone, even his own beliefs, and that makes him unique. Jonah Edward Dollery, despite your constant urge to draw pentagrams on a kitchen counter using sriracha, making satanical references, and screaming at 3 in the morning due to the resultant nightmares, my first friend, my cousin, my brother, I'm so lucky to have known you.
I'm ready.
One word to describe this class.
Heroes. Bubbly. Crazy.
Serious. Great. TGS for me is something quite special. I don't think I've seen a school community that's quite like it before. What's interesting is that you can connect with a lot of different people on a lot of different levels, and also with people that you wouldn't expect to, like your teachers. And I think that's what's nice is that you have that range. And I myself, no, sweetest light. It's all completely different. I think at TGS I think I was seen as like an individual who I could sort of express and follow my own wants and experiment with things that I normally wouldn't get a chance to at my old school. I appreciate like now I appreciate things like good movies a lot more now. I appreciate nice music. Art was something that I never really got into before. And not to mention like the tons of other experiences that TGS has afforded me. I feel like I wouldn't have been the same person. And I don't think I would have been very happy with who I was if I hadn't come to TGS. A memory is the best gift you can give to someone. I'd just like to, just say thanks to anybody who was involved for making these 4 years some of the most memorable years that I assume will be the most memorable years of my life. So, for those of you who have not got the chance to meet or get to know my close friend Natalie, it may be one of the better tonight. Nat joined TGS in New Zealand and has become an irreplaceable friend and member of our community. If you won't take my word for it, you can ask my mom, who, whenever I'm out with Nat or around her, will ask if she can speak to Nat about it for a little while, often resulting in about 10 to 15 minutes of them chatting. Nat is without a doubt one of the most hardworking and consistent members of our grade and our community, which often left me no partners in crime when it came to not doing Spanish work or secretly watching movies in class. She has developed in innumerable ways, from her academic style and prowess to her willingness to try new food and her soccer ability, all of which has culminated into the strong, hardworking, capable, beautiful, and funny woman you see on the stage tonight. I'm constantly amazed by Nat's sheer willpower to do things that many people only dream of, including myself, such as her 100 squats a day, her lengthy fasting during Ramadan, and her near-close obsession with tie-dye clothing. So Nat, as you move on to the next chapter in your life, don't forget to always keep your caring nature, your astounding work ethic, and your love for exploration and fun nearby. Not to mention being true to who you are, as that person is pretty amazing. So my Palantine and my fellow Sugar Pea Pirate, thank you for all the hours of exploring, the motivation to improve myself, the cups of mint tea, the donuts, and the laughs. I know I don't need to wish you luck, because I know that you will be one of the world's best neonatal doctors, and I'm so proud to call you my friend.
Before TGS, I'd never been on a plane even. I didn't have a passport. So I just sort of thought the rest of the world is just like my little town in Connecticut.
Alright, Matt.
My worldview has definitely opened up. I've learned to be using anthropology terms, to have a more cultural relative perspective rather than being ethnocentric with my American perspective. Being a TGS student is hectic, and you definitely have to learn to be flexible. I guess if I were to measure my personal growth, the best analogy would be through food. When I first came to TGS, I was the pickiest eater on earth. I wouldn't eat anything, and now I eat practically anything, except for strawberries and cucumber. I hate those foods. I don't know how I feel about graduating. I'm really excited to move on with my life, especially since I've had a goal since I was 8 years old to become a neonatal doctor. But I'm also going to miss TGS so much. And I know that I know I'm going to miss it now, but I know afterwards I'm going to miss it so much more.
Jillian and I immediately became friends my first night at TGS. We bonded over our love of starches, which has continued to this day. Yet one of my most cherished memories with Jillian was our day of adventure in Sweden, where we discovered the best hot chocolate tasted by mankind, following an afternoon of ice skating in the park. It has been a pleasure watching her grow into such a beautiful person. My favorite characteristic about Jillian is her ability to express herself. I have never met a person who could more clearly present a state of pure happiness. Whether we were exploring Peel Forest in the South Island of New Zealand or rafting across the Pacuari River in Costa Rica, observing Jillian's smile inevitably made our experiences more positively memorable and enjoyable. Her smile is contagious because it is the result of true happiness. On top of that, she has an endless list of vocabulary and the most beautiful writing style, allowing her to express herself verbally as well. She is the type of person who uses iridescence, reminiscent, eloquent, and everyday sentences. Like Jonah said the other day, she has this spark. She becomes so passionate and invested in her work, especially when it comes to writing and photography. I am envious of her literary gift, and because it is not one that I hold as a biology major. I look forward to reading her award-winning novels in the future, and have no doubt that she will be more than successful at Kenyon College in the upcoming years. Jillian, 4 years and 15 countries later, it is time for you to say goodbye to TGS. Although lucky enough for you, I only live an hour and 17 minutes away from you, so you don't have to say bye to me quite yet. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments at TGS, and I wish you all the best with your future.
I went to the same school for 9 years with the same people, and I was going to go through 12th grade until I found TGS. So I feel like for my friends back home who have done that, I definitely took a really unexpected path. Came into TGS and everybody was so smart and everybody had such big ideas and big dreams for the future and they all wanted to change the world. So then to come in and be a part of that, you kind of have to look in and ask yourself, it's like, why am I here? Why did I choose to come here? How did I get to this place to be with all of these amazing people? And how do I fit into that? Because if all of these people are so amazing, there must be something in me too that somebody saw and said, hey, like, she should be a part of this. Good paradise. There's so much to do. We've had so many opportunities from TGS, whether it's actual community service or even just reaching out to our local communities. We've had so many opportunities to explore different ways of helping people and sharing ideas. And like now that I'm leaving and I'm looking back on everything, I can fully appreciate how good everything's been. Like my high school experience has been great. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm ready to leave, but the stories that I have and the relationships that I have, they're amazing.
When I first saw you, I didn't have a clue as to who you were. As someone devoid of most social media at the time, I had never seen your face in pictures, and reading your name, I had assumed you would be the third boy in our class of 8. So when you introduced yourself, a soft gele, I didn't recognize the sounds, and I didn't recognize you. In our nervousness at what was to come, we were both quiet. We sat side by side on the way to Indus, the only new 9th grade students on our particular bus. I can only guess what you were thinking as we looked out at cornfields and sunflowers before finally arriving at the metal gates. But to me, an outsider in your life, you were already deep in thought, contemplating the same things I was, how our lives would change, how we would change, but not about how we would change each other. It's funny how 4 years can be remembered. For me, looking back, looking forward, looking at you now, I can't imagine a world where I wouldn't recognize you. Yele, you are TGS to me. When I see you, I see light and determination, and above all, I see home. You love fiercely, you live fully, you listen without hesitation, and when you decide someone is your friend, you never ever leave them. Your impact on me, as well as on this school and the lives of everyone else here, has been immense. When the world seems too big to comprehend, there you are, always, with your art and your humor and your heart. Your free spirit and willingness to explore, combined with your constant curiosity, and the way you dedicate yourself entirely to everything you do, fits the description of a true adventurer and a lifetime learner perfectly. You view the world with a sense of wonder, and sometimes I'm honestly surprised that you're not literally bursting with light, because to me you have always been as bright as the sun. So to you, Gele, the Galileo to my Finn, the co-founder of our Anubis fan club, my first roommate, my last, a stellar friend through and through, my sister, you did it, you're graduating, I love you, and I am so proud of you, of all you've accomplished, and of the brilliant person you've grown to be. 4 years led to this moment, and the next chapter of your life starts now. I hope the world is ready for you, because I certainly wasn't.
Growing up in Bhutan, I feel like I was very sheltered because we're not very modernized in a sense. Like we developed very quickly for a very small country, but we were very isolated for most of our history. And then like in that sense, transitioning to this school was crazy. My first few weeks were the craziest, most difficult few weeks I've ever experienced in my 18 years of life. I had to acclimate to a different type of schooling system, a different way of thinking in general, different way of answering questions, different way of asking questions. Like it was completely different from back at home. I feel like every year or even every semester, I've like learned more about myself and learned more in general, like about again how to answer things or how to behave in like a social situation even. Because I feel like I've found my people, you know what I mean? I found my people, I know what I'm doing. In a weird way, I feel like TGS has finally become a routine. So one thing that I didn't expect coming to TGS is get ready to go back home. Because then you realize how much you've grown and you realize how much everything stayed stagnant back at home. At the same time, I feel like I learned to appreciate my culture more coming here.
You go, girl. Follow your dreams.
What can I tell you about Sally Bear that would do her justice? She's calm, collected, industrious, and a closet video game addict. I did not know. Sally Bear, I tried to make this a poem, but it's hard to rhyme when there's so much to say in so little time. She sculpts mundane words into works of art. Her aura glows a yellow so bright, Pablo Picasso would salivate. She never ceases to amaze me, and she never ceases to amaze the world. Sally, I'm up here on the stage and my palms are sweaty, but I'm so proud of you. You've made me a better person. Be it by pushing me to write more poetry or testing my patience with those really stupid characters from that really stupid show we can't seem to stop watching. You carry the world in the palm of your hand, Antarctica maybe on your pinky, but I can be sure that the pen you hold will move mountains. Thank you for all that you've done, Sally. I can't wait to see what you'll do next. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Miss Sally Young.
Looking back at it now, I'd say that I had a very limited point of view of the world, and I had a specific lens which I saw everything through, and I didn't realize that until I came to this school where suddenly there were so many different perspectives mixing and matching together. I was leaving behind everything I knew and entering this new world on the other side of the planet, and everything was new and exciting and so scary. And I realized that there's not just one way to view the world, there's so many different ways.
You see, I have 11 fingers, thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky, poetry. Now tell me which one I should touch you with.
One thing that I really like to achieve is to bring people together, because traveling the world we see so many conflicts and so much discrimination, and if I could affect the world in just a single way, it would be to unify people and make them understand that there's better ways to deal with conflicts than to discriminate and oppress other people. What truly matters is the people around you. Like when you travel, the people you meet are actually more similar to you than you think. And it's the similarities that matter, it's not the differences.
I have a confession to make. You are my worst roommate. The first time we roomed together was in Stockholm. You kept all of your clothes in a huge pile in the middle of the floor. You kept me awake at night by talking loudly on the phone with your Spanish self-study teacher in the bed next to mine. But what I remember the most out of that room isn't your messiness or loudness. It's the quote you wrote on a big piece of paper and hung up on the wall. Duermo poco, sueño mucho. I sleep little, I dream a lot. In a way, that
quote sums up who Anna is to me. She keeps you up for hours and hours, midnight talks and crappy TV shows. But every single time, it's worth the lack of sleep. It's worth it because when talking to her, you never have to watch your words or hold back what you're feeling. It's worth it because she's the fiercest of friends who will always stand by your side, no matter how much the earth rumbles beneath you. She's like a dog in how loyal she is. When she decides to belong with her, you're stuck. Sometimes quite literally stuck, like when she hugs you or cuddles you or throws her legs across your lap in the couch. Anna, what I'm trying to say is that you are my worst roommate, but you're also the best roommate that I've ever had. With you, a hotel room is more than just a temporary living space, because you make it into a home. You have made TGS into a warmer, brighter place for the past 2 years, and I can't thank you enough for that. You're my messy, funny, caring, loving, loud roommate, and I wouldn't be the same without you. And I hope that wherever you end up, you will always sleep little and dream a lot.
Well, my first semester was actually in the UK, and it was completely different because we were moving every week or every 3 days from city to city. It was overwhelming, but that was my first impression and what I just immediately loved about TDS. I feel like it changed a lot. I always had this idea that anywhere had to be better than Mexico, and it was actually until I came back to Mexico when I realized that I loved my country and I was very proud of it, despite its faults, and because every country has its faults. And by coming back, I could see that my country, though its faults that I had always seen, there's some beautiful stuff, and there's some stuff I'm so proud of. TDS community, so worth it, worth everything. Well, we have the whole Ubuntu, which a value which I think really applies to us. We help each other succeed. We try to make ourselves better. And it's kind of like we all love each other, and we're all so proud of each other for doing what we do. I think that type of community, I don't think I'm ever going to see that again. Lisa, this is one of the many letters you and I will share for the rest of our lives. I will be telling this story to those who don't know Lisa through her many iconic hair colors, styles. It all started when you had dark brown hair, and we took one singular picture on photo booth in Brighton, and it would become the very first picture on my computer, and fate had it be I had a key to your room, and after that, I would proceed to take matters into my own hands. Breaking into hotel rooms should be harder, shouldn't it? The term we became best friends, you had golden hair, and a room filled with a lot of forgotten items that I left. We walked through hills, got lost here and there, and lived through different adventures. But despite being separated, I learned that you would never let me feel like I was alone. You had pink hair, and as we sat on an afternoon tea table, it suddenly dawned on us that it was almost over. We backpacked through the whole of the South and climbed things we both didn't think I could. We took siestas together and marveled at the beauty of the Duomo. It all happened in 1 year. Who would have thought? Lisa, we've had many more adventures together for the past 2 years. I know our future is filled with promises, and even though I don't know what hair color you're gonna have in the future, or where in Eastern Europe we'll have our cabin in the woods, I do know that wherever you are in the world, you will be making an impact to those closest to you, just as you have done to me. Ich liebe dich.
TGS student compared to a normal high school student. It's difficult to compare because it's very different experiences, but I feel like TGS is the place for students who are always in search for something more or something more to help them find themselves.
So what day is it?
It's reassuring in a way to know that there are these kind of connections you can make, and it takes school to a completely different level because I think that many people have like their view on school in general, on education is very limited, but TGS kind of proves that it doesn't have to be at all. Well, I've definitely matured. Just finding my way around and getting lost in a city without having to fear the unknown, I think that's a big factor that has changed about me. I would like to thank all my teachers basically because it's reassuring to know that there are people who've gone through this entire process called school, called finding your way in life and your footing. I think it's just, like I said, reassuring to know that people have been there and they've turned out just fine. So you're going to be fine too.
Beloved friend, I have to be honest, I've been the bad friend putting off writing a speech for you. Instead, I've turned it into a semi-apology letter that hopefully will shed some light on who you are. You see, it comes naturally to me being unforgivingly honest with you. Remember that time we sat in some vegan cafe in London almost 2 years ago? Fresh out of Brighton, still new on this TGS journey together, and barely knowing who you were, I asked a very intimate question that was probably inappropriate at the time. Your answer? Let's wait until we've become best friends first. Little did I know that you would become one of the constant rocks in my life within such a short period of time. An anchor, someone who consistently had my back and never failed to offer me a voice whenever I lacked the courage to speak up. The same goes for lending me your clothes, but that's your own damn fault for having such a selective taste, which is obviously a phenomenal one. And while most people recognize you for your fashion statement, your passion for European politics, advocacy for LGBTQ plus community, your sassy attitude, and your tendency for flamboyancy, hint, wrecking ball, few would think of your other lesser known but just as defining qualities. Your vulnerability, you being an impressively good listener, your willingness to understand and deep capacity for love and unwavering loyalty as a friend. I hope you continue to charm, inspire, and encourage those others with these qualities too, just as you have inspired me. I consider myself an incredibly lucky person to have found a friend for life in you. And without much further ado, I present to you Christoph Stucke.
I think like there was a big transition and I couldn't believe that there are actually people who travel around and who are educating themselves through meeting the cultures and who travel around and through having the possibility to be world citizens. I started really kind of trying to make my TGS experience really enriching, not just ID-wise, but also people-wise. It means connecting with the greater whole and connecting with the people that are out there. I really developed some friendships that I don't realize after teachers, and I really sort of grasp that all the teachers there are also your friends. So right now we try to capitalize, which is the first place. I realized that that's something I love about TGS, just being there to always push you to do better and making you more self-aware, making you more active. Feels sentimental. But I'm also really ready to graduate. I was always like the bird that stays in one spot for a small amount of time. But it definitely changed me for better in every way. I still remember how I felt on my first day when I arrived in Brighton. I was nervous, a little shy, and I missed people from back home. The person I missed the most was my older sister, who I would usually come to talk to in situations like this. That changed when I met Samaya and broke the TGS rooming rule for the very first time. On my second night in Brighton, Samaya, Sabrina, and I all sat on the floor of their room and talked about boys, talked about things to come, TGS, and the shared future we had. Even though it took more time for Samaya and I to become friends, she was the first one to make me feel welcome. And since then, I asked for her advice every single time I was struggling. Samaya Denikapake, you are the ultimately coolest person in our grade. She is the one who told our grade when to dab. And she was also the one who told us to stop when it wasn't cool anymore. But not only she's the cool kid, Samaya is also the nerd girl. And her motivation to do her best, as well as her strive to make the world a better place, were always such a huge inspiration. And even though we were never best friends, and we would hardly ever hang out more than once in a while. Samaya and I had a unique and intimate relationship. It wasn't only about talking shit about people, lovely night chats, or relationship advice. Samaya was the older sister I lost from not being at home, and I will never forget all the times you were here for me when I needed it. Samaya, you have an incomprehensible quality of being a good friend. You're a fantastic listener, inspiring and motivating person, and you had always let me know with a high amount of sass when I needed to change something about my behavior. As well as everyone in our grade, I'm confident that Tammy will make many great things in her life. I know that I'm probably going to be able to see her on the TV all the time, but I can't wait for another midnight chat on the floor again.
First couple of weeks, they were definitely terrifying, but in the best of ways, in the sense that I didn't know what to do with myself after time. It's definitely eye-opening in terms of being able to adapt to the different places that you go to, but by the time that it's my third year, it feels like, yes, I leave home, but at the same time I come to what's familiar to me. It's definitely exceeded the expectations in the sense that, yes, I was expecting a sense of community, but I never thought, well, okay, if you're going to be living with someone basically the entire year through, how well you're going to get to know that person. Especially when I look at my grade, I'm extremely proud of the dynamic that we have in the sense that we really are like a little tiny family unit and we make it work that way. So that sounds like a personal problem. Don't let it hold you back, because I know first in New Zealand I wouldn't sign up for like activities and wouldn't do all of these things. I was like, oh, what if I can't be good at football, or like it's all stupid stuff. Just like throw yourself into it 100 miles an hour, just go for it. And then I can guarantee like that by the end of it you'll find like people you love and you'll do so many things and have amazing memories with the people that you care for sure.
When I first met Nico in Brighton at about 7 in the morning, cold takeout food, I didn't know he'd become one of my best friends. But I'm grateful he did, and I'm honored to share even a glimpse of what he means to those around him. So should we be allowed to sit together in math class because we seem to talk about everything except for math? His hard-working determination is inspiring. I've seen him complete 7 IOCs in one night and write IAs like his life depended on it. And although I'm not sure how sometimes, Nico does it all. He does it with a flair that only Nico could ever pull off. With his characteristic integrity and artistic eye for everything around him, Nico sees beauty, and he creates it too. From memories of 4-hour conversations over French toast and rolling down steep slopes together, I've learned that Nico's sense of self and the immense care for those around him are driving strengths that will carry him far in life. And for being on the receiving end of Nico's care, time, humor, and presence, I am grateful. I'll miss listening to his storytelling that overflows with laughter and Spanish crash courses to ensure I don't sound like a total gringa, but not el juego just yet. I've seen him thrive, even in the hardest of situations, be it with impatient primary school children as he explained the importance of dental hygiene. I know that wherever Nico goes, he'll radiate the same care and humor. At Bowdoin, with his government and politics course, and even beyond, I'm jealous of the people who get to know Nico for the amazing human that he is both inside and out. Yeah, sugar. Thank you for everything. From reggaeton dances and chocolate croissants to warm silence and hugs. And thank you for always being there. For not being afraid to hurt, and letting me see the way in which your heart is open. To
to love generously, and to care deeply. You have taught me that family grow to become friends, and I can't thank you enough for that. To everyone else, I am overjoyed and honestly somewhat surprised to present to you Nicolas Antonio
I think definitely TGS changes you in a way, and I feel that you learn a lot from the people around you, and you learn a lot from the country you're in as well. So when I actually left home, I was like, I'm probably not going to come back home. I was definitely like, oh, I'm going to study in the States, I'm going to find a job either in like Europe or the US. But after leaving home and actually like realizing like how much potential there exists in a country like Ecuador, I think that it's like my duty to come back and to actually change something. If I were to give like some sort of advice to students, to current students or future students at TGS, I think it's really important to like go out and see the world and like take advantage of the place you're in. Just like small experiences you have within a country and within a city really are completely like worth experiencing rather than doubting if you should because of academic work or other things that you might have. And it's something that I definitely miss when I leave TGS.
Before I begin to try and encapsulate the beautiful human being that you are in about a minute and a half, I want you to close your eyes and think about how these last 3 years have made you the person you are today. And illustrate in your mind the people that have changed your life, that have been with you through this journey. Now open your eyes. Smile, because the people that you thought of are all thinking of the light that you bring to them this second. Let's go back to the beginning now. That coffee we had in Ecuador before I was officially part of the TGS family. I was the luckiest to have someone like you introduce me to the community that was closest to your heart. Mayoya, your ability to listen is something I admire, and at the same time, I couldn't be happier knowing that you would never hold anything back and that your opinion will always be heard. I went around and asked everyone in the class one word they would use to describe you, and it wasn't until I was asked what word I would use to describe you when I realized how much you bring to our grade and our lives. Someone said you are a dreamer, and today I want to tell you not to ever think that your dreams are too big, because your heart and the light that you bring to people will bring those dreams to life. Never forget the talk we had in Morocco, where you needed motivation, and don't ever be afraid to talk to the good people that surround you when you need it the most. I couldn't be prouder of the person you are today and the person you will become with whatever you do in the future. Keep being the wonderful self that you are. Everyone, Mayoya Refri.
explore some of the questions about what it's like to be a student at TGS. I've always wanted to travel ever since I was a really small child. I used to think that there were corners of the world that were completely unreachable, and I don't know, being at TGS, being able to see all of those little corners on my own and with friends, it really taught me how small the world is, and I think that it only fueled my love for traveling. We are in Rome. The project-based learning is really important, and giving students the ability to explore different areas that they are interested in. Oh my god, now I'm sounding like a curriculum developer. No offense, Martin, I just noticed it. Every day I'm grateful for these past 3 years. I'm just really happy that I am where I am, and I don't think that on a personal level I could be where I am if it wasn't because of all those challenges and experiences, blessings and curses that came with being a TGS student.
We were asked to hurry up because it was about to rain, but it's not, so I'm gonna take my time. The person that I'm about to introduce, she can't be summed up in 90 seconds. A future student of NYU who has an overwhelming immense passion for the arts and photography is graduating tonight. She is smart, kind, and unapologetically herself. Not to mention that she's incredibly beautiful inside and out. Aisha Adedemola Abike cousin was the very first person to prove to me that family goes way beyond blood bonds. In New Zealand, we were strangers to each other. 3 years later, this stranger means the world to me. It is really hard to believe that at some point, I didn't know who this girl was. The class of 2017 has been blessed with Aisha, as she has continuously looked after all of us, not only as a great representative and a welfare rep, but as an older sister who genuinely cares about what is the best for our small community. From the very first movie night to the very last great dinner, Aisha has served as a great listener, manager, soccer mom, partner in crime, and a friend. At first, Aisha may come off as shy, but don't let her fool you. As soon as people get to know her, it's clear that she's just thoughtful and attentive, waiting for the right moment to show her true colors. Colors which are like no other. What makes her so unique isn't only her talent, her heartfelt laughter, or her wisdom. It's rare to find someone who is comfortable with shared silence, or someone who knows what they stand for and while capable to distinguish from right and wrong. You always remained open and willing to all ways of being. I'm sure that most seniors are going through some sort of separation anxiety right now. However, with Aisha, more than anything, I am just filled with excitement to see what you're going to do in the future. Let that be you becoming the next JR, the next greatest photographer of the world, or live in a box in the streets. Or in a more drastic change of events, become a real soccer mom of 10 children.
As long as you are out there pursuing what you love, I am more than certain that you will continue to grow and better the lives of anyone who's lucky enough to know you. I present to you... I shut it in mother cake.
The thing is, I don't really remember what I expected before coming here, but I found it was really easy to click with people because everyone was so open and welcoming, no matter what grade you were in, where you came from. They were really all about like getting you into the community and making you feel part of TGS as much as possible.
I am currently 200 kilometers into the Arctic Circle, a place I would never have thought I would have ended up 2 years ago.
When traveling to all these different countries, my teachers and my classmates have been the one that I think I've learned the most from about not only the country that we are in, but also about myself. I think what I would like to give back from my journey at TGS isn't necessarily any one thing. I want to be able to take what I've learned at TGS, how I've grown, and kind of show people the ways in which they can too grow and learn in different environments, because I think TGS is really unique in the way that you are able to be both independent while learning from other students. So I want to be able to show people that you can grow, you can be solid in your beliefs and your understandings of the world, but you can also learn to cultivate them based on what you learn from other people. It's been fun, and I'm sad that it's about to end, and I don't know what the rest of my life has in store for me, but I know like this has been a great experience, so I'll treasure it forever.
When a crocodile first spot their prey, they utilize ambush tactics, waiting at the water's edge for zebras to take a sip before devouring them. Victor, on the other hand, was quite different when he first came to TGS. Like a gazelle, whose light frame makes him agile and better at escaping predators, Victor escaped any form of conversation those first few weeks. I'd like to say I remember our first encounter in New Zealand, but he was still that shy, reserved little Indian boy whose ambitions had not yet surpassed running for Southland Prefect. Over the last 3 years, I have watched Vicky transform from that unassuming gazelle into a fully bloomed, headstrong sunflower. His determined nature has brought both bitter and sweet moments. While Victor's unapologetically unique humor has gotten him into some sticky situations, to say the least, he never fails to make people smile. His persistent drive continues to bring him success, winning him presidency in Sweden under the promise of a humble, tyrannical rule and world domination via hydroponics. It is the trait that's most shaped his character as a strong, caring, justice-seeking individual. Victor's something I'd like to call a jack of all trades, with House Prefect, head of MUN, and micro-president under his belt, but most importantly, the biggest pop fan I've ever met, whether he likes to admit it or not. In all seriousness, Victor, you are one of the few people I look up to. No matter how much I hate to admit it, your work ethic and dedication to the things and people you love are qualities I admire. I know your unwavering passion will take you far in life. As you reach your transition from a beautiful sunflower into a bonsai tree, a god of the trees, who, like yourself, will thrive for years to come. I can't wait to see the lasting imprint you leave on the world. Vicky, you are the sibling I never wanted, but glad I found. I'm proud to stand here today in front of your friends and family to present you as a 2017 TGS graduate. Congratulations, Vicky. Long live the dictatorship.
just make it into a real thing. Okay, do it tomorrow.
TGS is a very dynamic community, I think, which is like always spontaneous. We are always trying to do stuff, and there are people who always want to go out and explore, and people who always want to try new things. I think before TGS I was not as self-confident as I am right now, and before TGS, even though I used to move around a lot, even in India, I feel like my worldview was quite limited, and I was not as open-minded. Just because people here are always open to seeing going out of their comfort zone, positive change in the world. So I'm so glad that I've been able to be in the company of these great people.
Change makers and leaders present here must have been inspired.
I think TGS is like it's a beast like no other, and like it's just so overwhelming, and there's so much to process, and I think it's something part of who I am, and it has helped me to grow so much. And to be honest, I don't recognize the person who I came in to TGS as, and I'm so glad and grateful for this experience. No, I'm done.
I've been asked by Jillian to make everyone teary-eyed and nostalgic and make you guys feel every feeling in between. And I had a joke prepared to lighten the mood, but we have been asked to speed things a little bit up, so... No! It doesn't work now. Years have passed in a blink of an eye, and all there is left are memories. There are memories which we would rather forget, and there are those which we would rather replay in our minds 1,000,000 times for them to become a little better every single time. And there are those which are a little blurry. Like, Sally wore glasses. So Sally started wearing glasses only in UK? I did not know that, man. Sorry. And there are those bittersweet ones, like this one right now, as we stand at the gateways of a new chapter into our lives. I cannot believe it has been so long since Greece, New Zealand even, and I can't say I'm ready to move on. However, c'est la vie. And what comforts me is the warm company of the memories that we have made here together, especially those made with my friends here on stage. The Think Global School World Class of 2017. Our journey has been long, yet too short. It began in India for some, New Zealand and the UK for others. But we have shared the same adventures, whether it be the infamous late nights in Hiroshima, the Odyssey in the Greek Mediterranean, or the fun nights in Mostar, or the consumption of the tubs of gelato from Eduardo near the Duomo in Florence. Our curiosity mingled with a hint of teenage rebellion has given us the best of times. Yet these memories would not be half as good if it were not for the company. For despite Reynolds being an awesome English teacher, our English classes in Sweden wouldn't have been half as exciting without the exciting conversations between me and Jillian, which were totally not aggressive. When people look at TGS, they think the places we go to, the pictures that we take, and the foods that we eat make us special. But what truly makes us special is the people. And I've been so insanely lucky to have these 1212s be beside me throughout. And to be honest, it's so daunting to look into the future without them. I'm often awestruck by thinking about the probability of a girl from the Kingdom of the Thunder Dragon meeting a poetic Swede and a chica caliente from Mexico, alongside an Ecuadorian with the cleanest computer screen I've ever seen. Our company has made TGS memories so great, for we have looked at each other's achievements and ambitions with glowing pride on our faces and our hearts pumping with love. Whether it be anxiously submitting early applications to colleges, many of whom won't get to see how awesome we are, or cautiously making moves on our crushes, many of whom again won't realize how really awesome we are. We've held on each other's hands through these adventures. We have been each other's pillars through headaches and heartbreaks. We have experienced so much and grown so much together. And to be perfectly honest, again, I cannot imagine a future without them. For my grade has always been a positive force, a motivating energy, and a loving family. We have a tendency to see the best in each other. We see the great photographer that's ready to blossom in Aisha. We see the trailblazing filmmaking communist philosopher not so hidden in Jonah. The outspoken activist in Chris and Lisa. The spine-cracking lawyer in Samaya. The New York Times selling authors in Jillian and Sally. The environmentalist in Gele. The dramatic actor in Mayo. The theorizing socialist in sociologist, sorry. The striking neonatal doctor in Natalie, and the future El Presidente de la República del Ecuador in Nico. And I know that they saw something in that skinny kid from India who barely spoke in New Zealand, and I owe them a great debt for that. For the memories I've shared with them and the lessons I've learned with them, from them, have made me into who I am today. When I was writing the speech, Samaya asked me not to make it too life-changing or too preachy. And I do realize there are so many others who are far wiser and older than I who could give better advice, like Martino and so many other teachers sitting in front of us today. But here it goes. Many of you, my friends, have fears that high school would be the peak of your lives, but know that you all have so much potential and much bigger hearts, and I know you'll succeed in anything you do. Let's be honest, if Trump can become president, you can do anything. Go out and do what you love. Hashtag do it and you cool. Also remember, all the memories that we have made together, everything that we have seen and experienced gives us a responsibility to go out and make a change. And it does not only give us a responsibility, it motivates us. And I know when whatever you do, you'll turn the world upside down. Today, the TGS experiment begins a new chapter with my friends about to be scattered to the winds. And I've hoped that we'll once again meet in 10 years, 15 years, and be still bound with the bonds of our memories that we made in India, Canada, and everything in between. Welcome to the mouth, my friends.
One word to describe this class.
Heroes. Bubbly. Crazy.
Serious. Incredible.
Cheeky. Honest.
Weird.
Committed.
Perseverant.
Individualist.
Diverse. Biggest challenge in administrating or teaching this class?
The constant questions.
Time management. Media lab.
They've all got the same fashion as me.
John watching videos in my class.
They're all buying the same shoes. In my position, the biggest challenge is going to get them to really believe in themselves.
Gee, you talk a lot.
Best memory of these guys?
Best memory? Oh, the whole week walking around Rome. Every single week, but it's been really cool.
Probably when it surprised me on my birthday.
Having dance lessons in Peru. The XX we explored. Drinking freshly roasted coffee on a plantation in Peru.
Punta Muna in Costa Rica. Freakiest experience ever.
The ice cream flying out the window happens.
It does stand out.
The wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball, for sure.
Negotiation, compromise, the value of the
Jonah taught me how to play chess. To respect before you get respect. Community. Tolerance. How to scare animals into making your films better.
That's something you can do cheaply. They taught me that you can be a foodie at a young age.
How not to stick to the program.
That's incredibly valuable because the kids can collaborate really well. When we talk about change makers, I really feel like you lot are going to make a change. So stay true to yourselves and make sure you make that change for us. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing and don't be scared to fail. You have an amazing class.
Never forget to have fun.
Enjoy all the rewards that have come with all the hard work they've done for life.
Always put humans first and be good to each other. Do what makes you happy and never stop learning.
Relax. Life is not just a score.
Laugh lots, enjoy life, and I wish each and every one of you just the best journey ahead. Never stop learning. Congratulations.
Love you all, guys, and good luck with the future. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck, guys. I'm gonna miss you.
Coming to the end of these and having to say goodbye. I feel like I'm saying goodbye to my own children. And every year I say I'm not gonna cry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you the graduating class of Think Global School 2017.